Good afternoon, our viewers. My name is Serena from Meg Television. Today we have a visitor from Bridgeway Foundation, a non-profit organization which helps in rehabilitating victims, especially young children who are affected by the ADF rebels. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my name is Bulam Abukarti. I am the Vice President of Programs at Bridgeway Foundation. As you said, Bridgeway Foundation is a private charity. So we do have a company, a business called Bridgeway Capital Management, which is based in the United States of America. And that company then set us up. We are the charity arm of Bridgeway Capital Management. And Bridgeway Capital Management gives us 50% of their profit over time to do the kind of work that we do. So we are privately funded, but we also do receive some funds from a very good friend of our organization, the Howard G. Buffett Foundation, which is doing great humanitarian work, especially in East Africa. And as you know, our current area of focus is the ADF, which in the ISIS world is called the Islamic State. In the Democratic Republic of Congo is called ISIS DRC in the international community because of the alliance with ISIS that developed over the past 5 years or so, and we can get into that. But that's our current focus, and we do 3 major activities when it comes to trying to weaken the ADF. Number 1, we do work that aims to defund the ADF, that's block its sources of financing. Number 2, we do defection messaging. And number 3, we do DDR, that's demobilization, de-radicalization, and reintegration. These are the 3 major activities we do right now. And the overall aim of all of these objectives, the overall aim of all of these activities is to materially reduce the ADF's capacity to commit mass atrocities, to commit mass civilian death, but also to bring its leadership to justice. Bridgeway's overall mission is to prevent or stop atrocities is to prevent or stop mass atrocities. Bridgeway's overall objective is to prevent or stop mass atrocities across the world. And what the ADF is doing is crime against humanity, and that's why we are committing resources to materially weaken them and ultimately defeat them and bring their leaders to justice.
Okay. In Uganda specifically, how long have you been in operation?
We have been in operation in Uganda for over 10 years because we started with the counter-LRA, and we supported the Ugandan government to defeat the LRA through provision of helicopters, through provisions of training. So we became a very trusted, good partner of Uganda over 10 years ago because we were the NGO that came and brought creative, innovative ways of defeating the LRA, and we worked with the Ugandan government to do that, and yeah, we are thankful to see that the ADF has been defeated, the LRA. We are thankful that the LRA has now been materially weakened. So that was when we started, but we started this counter-ISIS DRC work over like 3 years ago.
Okay. Could you please tell us which areas specifically does ADF affect most?
So as you know, ADF is originally a Ugandan rebel group that was then pushed through military effort into the Congo, and they are currently resident in Eastern Congo, specifically in the North Kivu territory, but they have over the past 2-3 years expanded to the South Ituri. They have over the past 3 years also expanded to the South Ituri province. So as at now, in 2017, the ADF was operating in an area that is 1,700 square kilometers. But over the past 5 years, from 2018 to date, their area of operation kept expanding, and today they operate in an area of land that is over 10,000 square kilometers. They have over the past 5 years killed 4,650 people, mostly inside the DRC. They have become the deadliest armed group in the DRC. As you know, there are many armed groups in the DRC, but as at now, ISIS DRC or ADF is the deadliest for killing over 1,600 people. I have told you that their area of operation has expanded, but we have also seen them now developing capacity to attack countries across the region.
Okay.
And they have so far carried out 10 different attacks or attempted attacks outside the DRC. Here in Uganda, in Rwanda, in Tanzania, attempted attacks. So they are expanding. They are becoming a regional threat. But they are mostly active in Eastern Congo right now.
Okay. As Bridgeway Foundation, we see you have come up to help Ugandans get restored. What is your main focus?
Yeah, so we have three main focus against the ADF. The first one is to defund the ADF. You know, no organization can operate without money. And in 2018, 2019, the ADF became a member of the ISIS movement, the group that calls itself Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. Now, since they became members of the ISIS movement, their name changed from the ADF to Islamic State in the DRC. Initially, it was Islamic State in Central Africa, but it was the ADF and the group in Mozambique that were combined to give them Islamic State Central Africa province. Later, they were split, and now there is Islamic State in Mozambique and there is Islamic State in the DRC. Now, since their allegiance, their pledge of allegiance to ISIS, money started flooding into the ADF. And we have conducted extensive research over the past 3 years, and we found that at least $250,000 US has been sent by ISIS to the ADF, to the Islamic State in the DRC. And that money is mostly through extortion in Somalia,
okay,
which is then sent to South Africa. From South Africa, it is sent to Kenya, and from Kenya, it is distributed to the DRC, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, and other countries. Some for logistical coordination, some to prepare attacks, and the money is mostly sent through the informal banking system, the Hawala networks. Yeah,
okay.
They don't operate with banks. They operate through the Hawala network. You know, you don't require too much documentation. You don't need an account. There is no due diligence or know your customer processes, so they use those kinds of agents, and they have agents in each country that will go and collect the money from the Hawala agent that they gave it to. So we worked over the past 3 years to uncover how they are doing that, and that's why I'm giving you this information. And we also were able to track and trace all their networks, and then we provided the information to our partners in the Government of Uganda and the DRC and other countries, and we successfully we were able to shut down that network. The government partners were able to shut down that network. But the $250,000 that I told you was sent just between 2019 and 2021. And this is a conservative estimate because those are the monies for which we got receipts showing that yes, the money has gone into the ADF. So our first work is therefore to conduct this kind of extensive research that is policy oriented, that is evidence based, in order to make sure that the ADF does not continue to get money. That's why the first D of our activity is defund. The second D of our activity, we have 3 Ds. The second D of our activities is the defection messaging.
Okay.
And defection messaging is something we do mostly in the Congo. Inside the Congo, you know, that's where the group operates. And we believe the best way of defeating the ADF is to attack them, not just militarily, but also through soft power, the non-kinetic approach. And so we have invested millions of dollars into defection messaging in Uganda, and we do 3 main activities in that wise. Number 1 is we have formed 15 Ukweli defection committees. I know you speak Swahili. Ukweli means truth. Okay. Ukweli defection committees, we have set up 15 of them in 8 of them in the North Kivu province, 8 of them in the southern, 8 in the North Kivu province, 7 in the southern Ituri province. And their duty mostly is number 1, to sensitize and educate communities to stop killing defectors or stigmatizing them. Because if defectors know that they will be killed after leaving the group, they will not leave. And we have seen cases over the past few years of people attempting to defect, to leave the ADF. They come to communities and communities attack them and kill them.
Okay.
So we try to sensitize communities to stop that so that more people can defect. Number one, because defection is the best way of weakening the ADF, or one of the best ways. Military effort is important and it has to continue. But those who are hungry, who are tired in the bush, who want to leave, we should give them an opportunity to leave. And our research reveals that at least 30% of the current members, that is like 700 people, because the ADF has an estimated 2,500 fighters now. So we estimate that about 30% of them want to leave the group. And
they are tired.
They are tired. They are hungry. Yeah, some of them were tricked into the group. They were promised scholarships or money to start business, employment, and when they got, they saw that it is a bush, there is no food, no good healthcare system. They want to leave, but they are scared that they will be killed by communities. So our Ukweli committees are working to sensitize communities to stop that. And then the second area we are doing defection messaging is we do radio messaging. We have radio partners, community radio partners all across Uganda, and some of these radio stations operate in areas where they have reached to areas where the ADF is resident. So they educate communities to stop killing or stigmatizing defectors, but they also do programming that encourages ADF members to leave the group. And the final lap of our defection messaging is flyer drops, flyer drop-offs. And for that, we use helicopters. Even yesterday we did that. We use helicopters to drop flyers in ADF territories. Like yesterday I was there, I can show you some of the photos and the videos, I can share some of them with you. We went to 23 coordinates. So we have intelligence from our government partners showing where ADF camps are located and the roads that are frequently followed by ADF fighters. So we go there, we have different kinds of flyers encouraging ADF members to leave the group. Some we have on them written in Swahili, come home, we love you. Some we write on it that the Ugandan or the Congolese government is ready to forgive you if you defected by yourself and came to authorities. And then we have photos of former members whom they know, whom have been granted amnesty and now happily back in their communities. And then we have a map of the 15 communities we have that where they can defect to. And if they decided to defect there, these are the three major issues we deal with in the defection messaging. And finally, we have the de-radicalization, demobilization, de-radicalization, and reintegration program, DDR, where we have extensive holistic program that rehabilitates former defectors before we reintegrate them back to communities.
Okay.
In that, we try to dismantle ADF's ideology. You know, it's a group that is based an ideologically motivated group that is misinterpreting Islam and misrepresenting Islam to young people. So we have religious counselors who dismantle that mindset by interpreting Islam in the correct way, in the mainstream way, and in a way that will convince former fighters that what they did previously was not ordained by God or sanctioned by God. It is criminality, it is terrorism, even in the eyes of God. Now, we also have a psychosocial support team that helps heal their trauma, because they come back with a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder. Many young girls have been raped repeatedly in the bush. Some of them have seen murders committed in their presence. Some of them have been forced to even commit the murders by themselves.
Against each other.
Against civilians. Against civilians. Some of them were fighters in the bush. Sorry. But some of them have also seen their own colleagues being killed by the ADF if they didn't do what the ADF wanted them to do. So our psychosocial support team helps the clients to put them on a path of healing. And finally, we have the livelihood support team that teaches them numeracy, literacy, and skills like baking, tailoring, and others. They also teach them civic education in order to rebuild their relationship with the governments and for them to know that Uganda belongs to them as well. They are Ugandans, and the government will treat them well if they became good citizens. And so that's what we do in the livelihood support team, but we also help them develop a business idea When we take them back to their families, we then work with their families and the local authorities to give them money to start business or to go back to school. And for each client, we have like $1,400 to support them to go back to school if they are children, or to start businesses or other source or any source of livelihood that they might have chosen.
Out of the bush, the trainings, the rehabilitation, which time frame do you think that a person is fully able to go back to the community without harming the community? Because when someone was in the bush, having that ideology of killing, they might affect the community. Do you have a time period that you give these young children?
Yes, so our programming takes at least 3 months. They stay and go through our extensive program for at least 3 months. And from that 3 months, when we reintegrate them back to communities, we follow up for 2 years.
Okay.
So you see, the total period we stay engaged with them is 2 years, 3 months. But when we take them back to communities, we don't leave them on their own. Number one, while they are going through our program, we trace their families, because many of them have lost contacts with their families for ages. And then we try to understand what is the family dynamics, because for some, the family relationship had broken down before even they joined the ADF. Maybe he has fought his father, or she has fought her mother before she left. So we try to rebuild the relationship and also understand the family dynamics inside the family, so we can identify key members of the family, like the heads of the family, that can oversee the client we are taking back to the family. But we also work with local social services, like the hospitals. If they have a mental health institution around the area, we connect with those. We also connect with the local security and traditional leadership, like the LCOs, like the DSOs. So we connect with all of them, like the first reintegration that we did 2 days ago. All of them came to the reintegration ceremony, and all of them have the contact of the client and the family. So if there is any problem, the family will report, or they will spot the problem and they will take care of it. And also the client, in cases of clients with mental health disorders, we continue to support their treatment. Right now, there are clients we have been supporting for the past 1 year. So our engagement continues, and we continue to supervise them, but we do it in a way that will not suggest that they are being surveilled. You know, surveillance is not good if someone feels that you are watching him every time. But then if the family, we have built trust with the family, they can easily report issues to us. The local authorities can observe, and the client knows that the local authority is ready to support them. As you know, we have a strong relationship with the Amnesty Commission. So the Amnesty Commission does its own assessment, we do our own assessment, and when we are satisfied that the client is ready for reintegration, they are given an amnesty certificate showing that, okay, they have gone through a program and the government has forgiven them this one time. Yeah, so this is how we do, and then we continue to follow up for the 2 years. Our staff visit them for 2 years.
Okay, among the victims, all those ones who completely don't have families?
Yes.
Who are completely off?
Yes.
And what do you do about those ones?
So most of them are children who don't even know where their families are. Some of them, the families are inside the ADF.
Okay.
So they have a mother, but the mother is inside the ADF. Or the mother had been killed by the ADF or by security forces in the fight against the ADF. So those kinds, some of them were born inside the ADF. Now they have been rescued or they have defected. For those, we mostly take them back to school. And we have a relationship with the Ministry of Gender, yes, the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. We have a strong relationship with them. We have a strong relationship with the international community of the Red Cross. And we also partner with local organizations, including orphanages, where we can take them to, and then we will continue to support their education. Like there was one client who is mentally unstable, whose family we could not get, we could not trace in spite of our best endeavors. Those ones, we take them to the mental health facility owned by the government, and then we continue to fund their treatment and their stay there.
Okay. What is your long-term solution? Long-term, because ADF has been fought for years. Years and years and years. Those people have killed so many people. in Uganda and even in DRC. What is your long-term solution about this as Bridgeway?
Yeah, I mean, you are right to say the ADF has been a problem for many years, and with the ISIS affiliation, it became even a bigger problem. It became more sophisticated, it became more lethal, its area of operation expanded, and so it became a very big problem. But the good news is that we have started seeing success in the programming that we do. So on the 20th of September 2022, we got the Ugandan and the Congolese government to sign the standard operating procedures. The Ministry of Defense in Uganda and the Ministry of Defense in the Congo, we got them to Uganda, to the DRC in Kinshasa. They signed an agreement on how to humanely handle defectors. And from that time, we started radio messaging. From that time to date, 358 members have defected. Even this week we received 8 defectors. So more and more of the ADF members are leaving the group, and we hope that will continue, especially with our flyer drops and ramping up of the radio messaging. And over the past 3 quarters, from the beginning of this year, we have started to see a drop in ADF fatalities. Like in the last quarter, 4th quarter of 2022, they killed roughly 399 people, almost 400 people. But in the first quarter of this year, that dropped by like around 100 people, and it has continued to drop. And this is the first time we saw a sustained drop for 3 quarters in ADF fatalities. And like I told you, our ultimate objective is to materially reduce ADF's capacity to attack civilians and kill them in mass atrocities, but also to bring their leadership to justice. And we will continue to engage as long as possible in order to ensure that the ADF is defeated. But security effort will have to continue. This is not trade-off for the security effort, the military effort against the ADF, but also there is need for more and more preventative measures in the communities to prevent recruitment. And we are funding some activities around that in areas that are hotspots of ADF recruitment in Uganda and Congo. We are providing money to educate young people, to sensitize and conscientize them not to join the ADF, and to ensure that communities are resilient against recruitment. It's a long-term thing. It's an insurgent group. It will take time to defeat, but we will stay the course. We will continue to support our partners in Uganda and the DRC to ensure that the ADF is defeated and does not continue to become a regional threat.
Okay, before you wind up, just one more message to the public about Bridgeway Foundation and how it is going to help fully put down ADF cause. Really, this is a national issue. Everyone is. Did you hear about the Kasese massacre?
Yeah, I mean, not that. I mean,
do you have what to say about it?
So on the day the Kasese massacre happened, I was here in Kampala, and I came because the following day I was to travel to Kasese, right to the community where the attack took place, because we had an activity and we already have some of our staff and partners there. But the attack happened and we had to cancel the activity because we couldn't continue because of the sensitive nature of the attack. And I think that attack is a sad reminder, not just to Uganda, but to the whole region, that ADF, the Islamic State in the DRC, is a regional threat. It's not just a Congo problem. And that's why when you see Ugandans saying, why is Operation Suja fighting in Congo, the consequence of not fighting in Congo is that the ADF may be able to then invade Uganda, so you start fighting them on your soil. And so it is just like you saw a snake in your neighbor's house. Instead of helping your neighbor to kill it, you leave the neighbor to pursue the snake. If the snake sneaks into your house, it becomes your problem. So it's better for you to go and join hands with the neighbor and finish up the snake. Okay. And so my message to Ugandans is to understand that ISIS DRC or the ADF is as much a Ugandan problem as it is a DRC problem. In fact, it is a regional threat. And therefore, I urge you guys to support the fight, both the military and the non-military fight against the ADF. In particular, I call on Ugandans to support our defection messaging and de-radicalization and reunion. Because if communities continue to stigmatize former fighters, then those fighters will never come out. If they don't come out, it means they will stay in the ADF, continue to kill people until they die. And that will only lead to more loss of lives. And finally, we should all in our communities try to prevent recruitment. And the way we prevent recruitment is to understand that the problem is not Islam. It is wrong interpretation of Islam, twisted interpretation of Islam. And the overwhelming majority of Ugandan Muslims don't support the ADF. The same thing in Congo. So, and they are sad, they are irritated that their religion is being used for bad. And so they are the best partner. Work with them, support them in their work, in their preaching in the mosques and in Islamic schools against the ADF, and to ensure that the ADF is completely defeated.
Okay. We thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our viewers be airing out all the activities from Bridgeway Foundation, whatever they do, how they have come up with all this, and the long-lasting solutions to put ADF down, because this is really a big problem to all of us, not only Uganda, but the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.